to PCMC. I'm Mike and Janine. I'm joined today by... Yeah, you pick up that microphone.
I'm here. I was just staring at it like, am I allowed?
I like your phone case.
I know. Look at that.
It's autumnal.
It is. It's fall-rific. I love it. I'm trying to Humpty Dumpty.
Mm-hmm. I can't. What do you mean?
I'm trying to have a great fall.
Oh, all right. I'm so glad I bit.
You really set me up there.
Because I was like, what? Do I just go with that? I was like, should I know what that means?
I've been saying that from from day one of fall. So September 22nd.
I thought you meant get busy in a Burger King bathroom.
Is that the street slang? What they're calling it?
Yeah.
Humpty Dumpty?
Yeah. I once got busy in a Burger King bathroom. They call me Humpty.
Oh.
Yeah, I called you fat. Look at me, I'm skinny. Never stopped me from getting busy.
P.S. Something you share with Bill. Know all the words to that song.
I mean, it's a classic. This is PCMC. I'm Mike and Janine. You are Janine Gagliardi.
I am. Hello.
How are you doing? Today's episode is about places, about houses and apartments and dwellings.
Mm-hmm.
Habitats in pop culture, movie, TVs, video games, whatever, that you would like to live in. Mm-hmm. And when I told you this idea, you really ran with it.
Oh my God.
Like 30 minutes later.
This is going to be like a 3-parter. Eventually, we will have done this multiple times because my list is so long and it includes cartoon houses. Yeah. And it includes real house. I really want to do a cartoon one with you one day though.
Right. Well, yeah, because you came, I have 7 and you came to me and you were like, I have 35. And this was like 2 minutes after I told you about the idea.
No exaggeration. I've given this so much thought.
I'm so glad because I told this to Anthony and he was like, it did not even register.
I'm going to say them and then you're going to be like, oh my God, yes, I want to live there.
Course,
yes, 100%. I hope you thought of some that I didn't because I'm also I have a couple of other weird like little theoretical things. I guess theoretical. I don't know. Little things that I want to get into about dwellings in movies.
Sure.
And like what you think about them. So that's extremely vague. We'll get into it.
Well, that's what they call a tease in the biz.
That's what they call a tease nobody cares about.
No, this is our most buzz listy episode I think we've had.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's pretty buzz listy.
Is it? Okay.
I can't remember offhand. This is episode like 150 something.
Sheesh.
This show has gone on a long time.
Well, I love it.
We killed off John Amos after season 1 and we still kept going.
What?
It's a Good Times reference.
Oh. We're not that far apart in age, but sometimes I feel like we're decades apart.
Why? Because I make a fucking sweet John Amos reference? Did you see Uncut Gems?
I didn't.
He's in it as himself.
Okay.
As like Adam Sandler's neighbor. And he's like, that's John Amos. He was like, Good Times. And his kid's like, what? And he's like,
was that kid me?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Damn. All right. Well, you've got so many.
I have
so maybe you should give like
many.
3 and like 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I told you no cartoons.
No
because
cartoons. Okay,
let's get this list. Let's rein this in a little bit.
All right.
We'll do a cartoon only episode.
Okay. So, we'll do a cartoon only episode. So I'm going to do some like really out there ones, and then I'm going to do some that are like just gorgeous houses that like exist in real life.
Sure, please.
But they're not from cartoons, so it's all from real
all right,
stuff.
Great.
Now, should I go with like my top ones first? Is this any kind of like ranking order, or we're just going to throw them out there?
Whatever.
Okay.
However you want to do this.
All right. So Wendy's house.
I've never seen you take anything more seriously.
You don't understand.
Sorry, go on.
Do you know that in the course of doing this, I actually was like, what if I just started an Instagram account where it was just this, like houses we want to live in?
That would actually be perfect. You'd have a zillion followers immediately.
I think I might, because this list alone has like a year's worth of content.
Yeah, you'd be good.
So Wendy's house in Hook.
Oh, in Hook.
Yeah. That bedroom.
That's
really, because that's really the only part of the house we get to see a lot of is the children's bedroom. And it is the most magical Peter Pan-y bedroom ever. Like the windows are huge and gorgeous. It's like a bay window. There's just like a little hook latch, of course.
Of course.
Wendy has like a tent for them in there. All the beds are like canopy beds, and the beds are, I love in movies, even though it's like usually in sad orphanages, like when the beds are in rows facing each other.
Yeah.
I love that. And it's kind of like that, but it's warmer because the walls are sort of curved, so they're like angled at each other instead of being like militaristic where they're straight across from each other.
Like, now, were they kind of like gendered sides, or am I just imagining that?
No.
Was like one side pinker?
I feel like the whole room kind of skews a little bit more feminine, but it's just like very pretty. Like the room is really prettily designed.
Prime spot for being kidnapped by a pirate.
Absolutely. It's like
it's asking for it.
It's super cozy. It's beautiful. It's like a fairy tale in the room, and then it gets violated, and there's like a big scratch on the wall from the hook, and it's like he has come into this little piece of heaven and like taken the kids away. And I think that's probably why the bedroom is so beautiful, because it's supposed to be where they're the most safe.
Can we talk about how people malign this film?
I think it's so treated poorly by like
even Spielberg,
film critics and retrospectives. Like I just think it's treated so poorly.
I think it's so good. I think it's so charming.
I love it.
I think the performances are so good. I think Robin Williams, like his commitment to it, like holds everything together. I think it's adorable. But
Dustin Hoffman,
everyone
great
shits on it.
Yeah.
Oh, Dustin Hoffman's amazing in it. Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins is great in it. Glenn Close,
is
also there.
But people shit on it. Even Spielberg's like, yeah, I fucked up. I should have. He wanted it to be a musical, and then he wimped out, and he's like, I wimped out. It would have been better as a musical.
I'm actually glad it wasn't.
I'm glad it wasn't too.
I like it as is. I don't love Julia Roberts as Tinkerbell. I think that's probably like.
I heard she was a nightmare on the set.
Well, they called her Tinker Hell.
But I've also heard that about every other movie she's done.
Maybe she's a deeply unpleasant person.
I know that
she'll never be on the podcast now.
Oh, fuck. I know that the comedian Jeff Garlin gave her dressing down. He was in some scene with her, and he was like, "Hey, you're being an asshole to everybody," and she was like, "I'm sorry."
Oh man.
Anyway,
she's like BFF with Soderbergh though. Like he always uses her and like loves her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You know, it's funny. Thinking about some of the things on my list. I was always attracted to, and maybe all kids are, attracted to a sort of not mythical, but a sort of pop culture, artificial space that is created for a child to have agency within it.
Okay.
Like, I don't have any cartoons on here, but if I did, I would have like Dexter's Laboratory.
Oh, okay.
And like places like that, like places where you as a child have agency.
Right.
And there's a little bit of magic, a little bit of science as magic. You can make things happen. Like, because when you see it like as a little kid, you'd be like, oh, I wish that's what my room looked like.
Right.
And it's like, well, nobody's room looks like that, kid.
Right, yeah, because a set decorator came and a designer put this all together. They're on a soundstage and it's lit perfectly.
Nobody's going to come into your bedroom and fill it with fog before you roll so you get beautiful streams of light.
Yeah.
So I like that. That's a great one.
So yeah, that was it's just one of the first ones I remember, like as a child watching it and being like, oh, I want to live there. Like I want to sleep in that bed. That's where I want to be.
Yeah.
All right. So you want me to do another one?
Sure.
All right. This one's totally like out of left field, but Bill actually brought this up, and I was like, oh my god, I did want to live there. Inside the genie's lamp in I Dream of Jeannie.
Whoa, I don't remember that at all.
All right, I'm going to show you a picture because you didn't see it very often, but when you saw it, it was extremely cool. It was like a pink and purple hookah lounge.
Wow. See, I don't have any memory. I don't think I've ever even watched that show.
Oh, really?
Right. You mock me for making John Amos references.
All right. Well, I had Nick at Night. Look at this.
I did
my
too.
god, I was
a
live
basic
in there.
Oh, now that I'm looking at it,
it was like a Polly Pocket.
But that's a fuck palace.
You know it is. And as a kid, I knew there was something about it that I wasn't supposed to like, but I really enjoyed it. Pillows.
That is a
cushions.
Fuck palace.
It is just like glittery wall. Now that I'm looking at it, I didn't even remember the glitter.
Yeah.
I just remembered I wanted to be in there.
Yeah. It looks like fun. Like you want to jump on the
she's
jump
just
on
like
things.
laying on the cushions all the time, hanging out. It's so much fun.
Like you go in there
like
with a black light and it's just fucking nothing but cum everywhere. It's like a Pocono
Palace, Mount Airy Lodge type.
Oh, it's just covered in jizz.
Why does it smell like you have an old hot tub?
Oh, gross.
My goodness. Yeah, and no, it's just a couch. I'm looking at the set now. It is literally just a round couch. That's
cool,
right?
Because you're a kid, you know a couch. You jump on it.
That's it. The whole room is a couch.
Yeah.
It's a big purple couch with cushions and like glittery walls, and that's where I want to be.
Well, when you were a kid and you saw on TV like beds can be huge or couches could be huge, you were like, whoa, game changer.
What is this? Because I have a couch and I'm not allowed to get on it at all, and it's not the size of my room.
Right. Like I remember, this doesn't count, but I remember Gallagher. Remember Gallagher? He was a racist. And...
How old are you?
Gallagher, he had comedy specials in like the 80s. He had a whole like special where he was like on a giant couch, like bouncing up and down, and it was just props, like giant things in the side of the couch.
I remember the show The Big Comfy Couch.
Similar vibe.
Cool.
Similar vibe.
And I was like a little too old for that.
Yeah. Let's see. Do I have any cool ones? I don't have any cool. All right. Here's one. Mm-hmm. The TARDIS.
Oh yeah, sure. Which Doctor?
Wow, that's a great question.
Because I have a favorite TARDIS.
I think,
but it's also maybe the most different TARDIS. So then you probably know which one it is.
I think my favorite would be Peter Capaldi's.
Okay.
Because it's basically the same as Matt Smith's, but it's more chill vibes. It's like more blue and toned down, and there's more like wood in books and stuff around.
Oh, okay.
So it's got much more of like a study, like there's chalkboards. Like he went with the real like professorial, like old fashioned kind of doctor thing, and of course like it's a mythical space that's huge, and like they say there's a swimming pool, and there's all sorts of crazy shit that you've never. There's one episode, Journey to the Heart of the TARDIS, where you see a bunch of other shit. You see endless hallways and stuff. But yeah.
I like the Matt Smith one. It's my favorite. I think
really
it's much
one.
warmer than a lot of the other
It's super
TARDISes.
steampunky.
Very steampunk. I find that like the color theory that's at play there is like a lot of yellows and like warm tones, where the other ones are kind of cold.
Yeah. There's a lot of like on his console, there's a lot of like toys and things you wind up and like play with, and like because they usually just build that shit, and then the actor just has to sort of like be like, how do I think the TARDIS runs, and just come up with shit.
Yeah, he's a really good improviser. Did you see the was it the Albert Hall like Christmas special that he did live?
Yeah.
And he went out into the audience and he was just like improvising stuff with kids, and he was really good at it. And I was like, oh, okay, he must be like trained. Because otherwise he's just naturally very, very good at improv. Yeah.
I remember that. He was a good doctor. So I guess I wouldn't want to live in like the first and second Doctor's TARDIS, because that just looks like it's just all white. It's just very like clinical looking. Yeah,
a lot of it's like very boxy.
Yeah. So what do you got?
Oh wait, okay. So I wanted to also bring this up because it's actually something in Hook and the Genie's Lamp in A Dream of Jeannie. Did you ever want to be small, like when you were a kid? Because in Hook, like Tinkerbell's clock house, like I loved the idea of like being small and getting to live in places because you were small.
Well, yeah, like when the little boy from Witches is turned into a mouse, he lives in the Ghostbuster Firehouse toy. So yeah, I've wanted to be small.
That was Bill's number one pick. He's like, oh, houses? Yeah, Ghostbusters Firehouse, of course. I was like, yeah, sure.
I thought about that, but I feel like it's so ostentatious and like everyone's looking at me. I would never feel comfortable. I would feel like
so open.
Yeah, like I want something cozier.
Yeah, right. Like be small, like live in a tree with a door on it or something, or like the borrowers, they like live in the walls of the house and stuff. I love that stuff. Yes. I think I just wanted to be a mouse.
I just wanted to be small. Yikes. Give me another one.
All right, I'm gonna give you one I'm saving the other one.
Okay.
The Home Alone house, the McCallister's house in Home Alone.
Okay, yeah.
It is nothing fantastical. It's just it's real nice house.
It's
right.
It's a real dream of middle class life.
It really is.
It's gigantic.
It is. It is not a John Hughes movie, but because it was written by John Hughes, it's like almost the exact same house as
Didn't
Plane
he direct
Train.
it?
No, Chris Columbus did.
I thought Chris Columbus wrote it.
Wait, did we do it backwards? Let me double check.
I think Chris Columbus wrote it and
they're
John
both
Hughes directed
involved.
It. Yes, they are both involved.
So let's check it out. Produced by John Hughes, directed by Chris Columbus.
Oh, okay.
Written and produced by John Hughes. So he wrote it and Chris Columbus directed it. But it's almost an identical house exterior to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Steve Martin's house. Yeah. And I guess they're these like Chicago suburb houses.
Yeah.
Just like a big, gorgeous house. It's like a huge family.
Right.
It's full of kids, even more kids than like live in that house normally at the beginning of it. So it just feels like when Joe Pesci comes in, he's like, "What is this, a school or something?" It's like the camp or something that's going on here. It's just like overstuffed with like kids and furniture and like crazy wallpaper.
It had a cool aesthetic too. Like it had a cool look to it.
It's like a Christmas house all year round.
It is like a
red and
Christmas
green
house.
Inside, like on the walls and the kitchen and on all the decor.
You can't. It's kind of like how in Main Street in Disney, it's always 4th of July. Like you can't imagine that house not at Christmas,
right? Yeah. Like I can't imagine summer in that house. I feel like I would be stiflingly hot because everything is so warm and cozy in there.
Yeah. Like how can I can't, I'm sweating as I'm drinking this hot cocoa.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I can't live here, but I love it.
Now, would
the
you
attic? I love the attic. It's like fully furnished.
Of course.
He's like afraid to sleep up there. I'm like, why would you? It's so cozy and fun.
Would you live in the version of the house from the NES game where there are like giant spiders in the basement that you have to like kill? And
I mean, I considered whether or not I would actually live in this house as is in the movie, or if I just want like, the empty house and I get to do what I want with it. Because I don't want that tarantula.
No, you don't.
Bottom line, I think that the true scary thing is not being stalked by two men who want to rob the house. I think the scarier thing is the tarantula got out and now you're home alone with a spider.
That would be the A plot for you.
That's the A plot.
You should remake it.
We're just home alone with a spider.
But not like A Beautiful House. Like he's like a latchkey kid. Like let's like make it like super sad.
I think that's what that movie Antlers was supposed to be, and then it never came out.
Oh yeah, Antlers.
Whoops.
Yeah, that is a good one. That's a good house.
So much.
Yeah, the basement.
Oh yeah, well the basement's scary, but
right because it's got a big scary thing in it.
Yeah, but it's got the laundry chute, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Now you're making me think of John Hughes' houses. Uncle Buck's house is similar. Not Uncle Buck, but like the house from Uncle Buck, the brother's house.
Right.
Do you ever hear? Well, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's a theory, but I completely believe it. Probably in the first draft of that movie, Uncle Buck is a hardened gangster.
Oh, okay.
Because think about what we know from the movie. He doesn't have a job. Mm-hmm. His job that we see him do is fix horse races. Mm-hmm. There's a scene in the bowling alley where that dude with the black eyes like hitting on his niece, and it's weird that he has a black eye. And then Buck comes up to him. He's like, "What you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, hi, Buck." And it's never explained. And it's like Buck probably gave him that black eye.
He beat him up.
He's probably just like an enforcer. Mm-hmm. And also, when he fucks with the boyfriend at the end, why does he have all that crazy shit in his trunk? Why does he have duct tape and a fucking drill?
There's some theory that he's a serial killer too.
I mean, maybe.
Like he's like the Iceman. Like he works for the mob, but he also like does hits and stuff.
No, that makes sense. Buck has killed people because you got to think also like, why are they so mean to him? Like, why would you cut him completely out of your life?
Right.
Unless he was a hardened murderer.
Yeah.
I think probably the first draft was like that. Mm-hmm. And then John Candy came in and they were like, well, everyone loves John Candy.
Too sweet. You can't do it with him.
Yeah. So he just kind of became this nebulous whatever he is. Yeah. But he's quite clearly a criminal.
That's amazing. I love that.
He's the Golden State Killer.
Uncle Buck. Ridiculous.
Okay. All right. So mine are less fantastical than yours.
Okay.
Do you ever see Help, the Beatles film?
Okay, yes. I think with you.
Okay. They have...
So this is going back.
Yeah. So in Help, they have like 4 little like cute little houses next to each other, and they're all coming home, and they're like at their stoops like, hi Paul, hi John,
God.
and they walk in, and then you see it's one gigantic house. Like even though they go through 4 doors, all the houses are connected,
I love that.
but they're different aesthetics. So it's like a big cartoon. It's like a big cartoon house.
Yeah, you just made me add one to the list that I'll save, but I have to start this Instagram account because I have too many things.
Yeah, that's a fun one. And there's a lot that goes on in the house. He sings You've Got to Hide Your Love Away in the house. Mm-hmm. I think people sleep on Help. Everyone talks about Hard Day's Night because Hard Day's Night is like a Marx Brothers movie. It's like it's super tight. It's beautiful black and white, beautiful cinematography, really funny dialogue. And people are like, Help is not as good. And it's not as good, but Help is still got good shit in it. Mm-hmm. And the house is like a big one.
I love that. That's a lot of fun. That's such a cute idea.
Yeah, like why do you go through different doors? It's kind of like is it a bus?
The tour bus in Spice World.
Spice World, yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I just wrote it down. I was like, the tour bus in Spice World. I wanted to live there.
Like it's like
they each
it's
have
a shared
own, like,
space,
level.
Right?
It's like completely theirs.
Right, exactly. It's a shared space, but you're using that space to define each one. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I love that. I love it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, all right. So let's take a detour. Let's go to romantic comedies and the houses in romantic comedies. Because this is like, so I was thinking of Nancy Meyers movies in particular.
That's just kitchen porn, those houses.
It is kitchen porn.
I mean, those movies.
It really is. So I would say the biggest ones, the ones that Nancy Meyers is probably most famous for in terms of like house porn is Something's Gotta Give.
Yeah.
Gorgeous kitchen.
Yeah.
And It's Complicated. Meryl Streep's house.
I've never seen that one.
It's actually maybe one of her better movies. The movie itself is a lot of fun, but the house, Meryl Streep's house, is ridiculous. And it's very like kitchen centric, and I find that these movies are, they're very like, I don't want to say sexist, but it's very like female coded, like the female spaces, like the kitchen. It's very like kitchen centric. They're always in their kitchens. And even though it's like directed by a woman and the woman is the lead and typically like a strong lead, they're still like rooted in this kitchen. And granted, it's the most gorgeous kitchen you've ever seen, but it's these old, I don't know, this like imagery that I find kind of limiting, but at the same time, I love it for the interior design. So I think it's kind of, I don't know, it's weird. And then there's the movie The Holiday with Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz where they switch houses.
Okay, I don't think I've seen that either.
Kate Winslet lives in this place called Rose Hill Cottage, and it is so beautiful. Apparently, like the production company was contacted like by thousands of people who are like, where is this? Like, how can I rent this house? And it's set. It's completely built. And it just looks like an old house. This house does not exist. It was built.
It's cute.
It's extremely cute. The interiors are gorgeous. She has the same, I guess, set designer come to do like almost all of her movies.
I mean, talk about like, the auteur theory. Like the set designer is really the star of the Nancy Meyers film.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's
all about space.
It is all about these homes. Like the homes sort of are the characters, right?
Yeah.
And all these women in the films are unhappy with their lives, but their homes are like gorgeous and like curated and designed very specifically, and all of them are very like warm and cozy, and you're like, how could you not like your life? Your house is so gorgeous.
The lib in me wants to like be like, fuck this, because like I remember feeling like insecure as a child that like I lived in an apartment and I didn't live in like
it's
a nice house.
Spaces,
but I feel like it's not aspirational. It's if you don't realize that it's make-believe, you feel like, is that what life's supposed to look like? And my life doesn't look like that.
They're all very wealthy. They're never at work.
All right. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, people in pop culture tend to be either rich or super rich, or there's a complete erasure of economic status. Like, think about like Friends. Like, they're barely ever at work. Like, that's like, other than the crazy where they live,
right?
Which they explain away of rent control, which is bullshit. Because if it were real life, they would want to turn that into a condo, and they would just like fuck with their mail,
they
and
chop
fuck
it into
with
like
their
6
heat.
apartments,
right?
Yeah.
Until they torture you enough to leave. But like the fact that they will hang out at a coffee shop
all day,
and
like,
they're like
for hours before work. And it's like, what time is it?
Well, you guys
noon?
adults?
Yeah. Shouldn't you be at work?
So it's kind of like, yeah, almost all the things in this. Like, I'm going to come to on my list. I've got some people that the characters are meant to be poor, yet they live lavishly. And it's like, it's a little bit pisses me off, but also, I can enjoy it as pop culture fodder.
I think part of the thing about just I'm targeting Nancy Meyers movies, but there's a lot of romantic comedies like that have like I'm thinking of a romantic comedy that like kind of sucks, but Nights in Rodanthe, right? This movie, it's like about an inn in North Carolina on a beach, and I think like the the like Nicholas Sparks movies, like The Notebook has like a big house. Like, all these movies also have these houses in them that are like dream houses, right? Like these big gorgeous houses, and I feel like the whole thing is this like fantasy narrative. It's like a fantasy romance. It's a fantasy house. It's
He's
like they're
like
selling you this
building a house in that,
lifestyle.
too.
He's building a house,
So
which is sort of like, to the relationship. Like, he's building the yeah. So we've talked about how like I don't like this movie or the messaging at all, but the this thing about these cozy or like they don't tend to be like over the top glamorous spaces, unless it's like a movie like Crazy Rich Asians, what it's about that.
Right. It's right.
But they are these unattainable spaces anyway.
Right.
But they're like selling you this lifestyle, this like very like kind of Martha Stewart living look.
Right.
Yeah. So I think, I don't know, there's something about that and romantic comedies and like the whole idea, the whole life they're selling you.
Well, here's an example of a character that's meant to be poor, which is Big Daddy, the loft from Big Daddy.
Yeah. He won a settlement.
Yes.
They say.
Yeah, right.
He works as a toll booth worker.
Right. In it, he lives in well, you know what it is? Like, there's this thing that you see a lot in the 90s where it's like, we live in a loft. And the idea is like, somehow a loft is cheap because it's a lot of unfurnished space.
Right.
But like, who cares? It's a brick wall. Like, people love that. Like, it's not a bad
brick.
thing. Right, exactly. And do you remember like in Big Daddy, like, instead of rooms, there were like pods, like there were these little like bubbles that like you walk up and then into them. It's
sometimes
crazy.
It'd be like glass encased areas, like it used to be like an office building or something.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would
that
love
apartment
to live
is
there.
awesome. Yeah, it's a really, really great one.
Yeah. Best part of that movie.
And that's something, I mean, if we're looking at these spaces, like coming from a Nancy Meyers kitchen to like the Big Daddy apartment, that's such a masculine space where it's like decorated and it's like dark brick, a lot of industrial things like glass and metal, and like the materials are all sort of like, I don't know, like hardened, and it's very masculine coded. And then of course the decor, there's like no decor. It's like beer signs and you know, stupid shit on the walls.
Well, yeah. So this segues into the loft from New Girl, which is also a space that's masculine coded, because the idea, at least initially, was that like she was this one female in this very male space.
Right. Her room is like very feminine.
Right. And Schmidt's room is very, very
cold and modern, I would say.
Yeah.
Like his whole deal is like clean lines because he's
like
such
GQ,
a germaphobe.
Yeah.
And, like, he's very, very particular and meticulous about his cleanliness.
He's like a better version of the character Barney from How I Met Your Mother.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
they're very similar. But he's much better.
Right. He's a much better character because they point out that someone like that would be a douchebag.
Yes.
Like somebody
and a lunatic.
Right. Somebody who went from being vulnerable to like, now I'm super cool and I have a lot of money. Like Barney, like they make it like that's aspirational, or like that it, like Schmidt, like at least all his friends like there's so many times where
He's such a tryhard.
Nick is like, you didn't used to be like this.
Right.
And then of course Winston's space is maddening, and like there's the weird like alien mural on the wall.
Right, that's not his, but he just kind of like inherits it, and now it's his thing, I guess.
And then of course, like whenever you see them play like True American, it's like the space is just crazy. It's just, and you know, they do the thing like, oh, we're poor, but it's like it's an amazing space.
Right. In their defense, though, I will say they appear to live in a part of Los Angeles where there is nothing. Like, there's no cute cafes or restaurants in their area. Right. They do seem to live in, like, an industrial or, like, a business center area where they have to, like, leave to go someplace else. Like, the bar doesn't seem to be very close. Outdoor Dave lives right outside. Yeah. He catches all of her purses when Nick throws them out the window.
But yeah, I would love to live in that. Wouldn't you love to live in that?
I would. But it's funny, as the seasons progress, it does seem to be gentrifying. Like the building is attracting more.
Right. There's the episode
younger
with
people
the hipsters that Schmidt really wants.
And they're all like trust fund babies. None of them have like a job.
Yeah.
At least in New Girl, they all go to work.
Right. Although.
And they're frequently
Nick
at work.
is a bartender.
Right.
I mean, they make jokes about how like Schmidt covers his rent and stuff. So I mean, it's
Schmidt
not as
covers
egregious.
Everybody's rent sometimes because Jess is employed as a teacher. You know, she'll make a salary, but when she's unemployed, Schmidt is like, "What's going on?" Where they're actually talking about bills on the show,
right?
Which is interesting.
Something you never saw. Like, there's like one episode of Friends where they talk about how 3 of them have more money than the other 3. Where they go to a concert. I think it's Hootie and the Blowfish.
Okay,
that's like the only thing I can remember in that show where class ever comes up. What do you got?
Okay, let's see. Oh, the house from Casper.
Oh yeah, that's kind of that's a lot like the house from that's a lot like Hill House.
Oh yeah, Haunting of Hill House. That's also on my list, but we could talk about both of them, like horror movie houses. Right?
Well,
like
you've got a fetish for ghosts,
as we all know.
You want to fuck a ghost. Much
Devin
like Kesha.
Sawa is somewhere in that house.
Yeah.
Sure, he looks like a bubble ghost most of the time, but sometimes
he looks like
when some Halloween midnight magic is happening.
Handsome boy.
If I am also like 12 years old, I want to live in that house. I want to be near that ghost. I want to ride on that weird little chair. And Bill was asking me, well, why not include the Addams Family house? Because it's very similar. I'm like, yeah, but if you ride that chair in the Addams Family house, you die at the end.
Yeah, there's a lot of death. Everything leads in death.
Yeah. So, like, I love that bookcase, but I don't want any part of it, really.
Yeah. No, the Casper house is much more livable than...
because it leads to the laboratory. It's like it's also very steampunk because it's like a lot of gadgets and like clanking gears and stuff.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous when you walk in. It's huge. It has this like
it's got that big huge spiral. Right, exactly, which is like Hill House.
Yeah, big staircases, big grand entrances in
like your favorite movie, Gone with the Wind.
My favorite of all time. That house just is a staircase. That's the only thing I remember about that house. Is
just
that
staircases and racism, right?
That's it. That's all.
No, that's like the episode where I was like, while we were off the air, Anthony was defending Mel Gibson. You were saying how Mel Gibson gets a bad rap.
Oh my god!
And he was like, I did not say that.
This house, at one point was covered in Gone with the Wind memorabilia because it is actually my mother's favorite movie and still is. And she, to her credit, has been like, oh no, yeah, for sure. There should be a disclaimer. Yeah, absolutely. Because if you're coming from a perspective where you don't know that this movie is really championing the antebellum South, you'll be like, what is happening? What are they saying?
It was a lovely time.
No. So she's like, oh yeah, for sure. They should have a disclaimer at the beginning. I was like,
okay. Yeah, the house from Casper.
Love the house from Casper.
I'm trying to remember the rooms. I can only remember like that big grand foyer.
Well, I love her bedroom. I love in movies or TV shows when a child character has a balcony on their room. Like,
oh yeah,
that is just the dream, right? That's so much fun.
Yeah,
and she has like open like a little or like a casement window, like. You take off the latch and like you go out with the window and then you can like sit on the window ledge and wish on a star.
Yeah, any I don't know what they call that, where it's like a little nook in a window and you sit there and you read a book
Yeah, I thought it was like a parapet, maybe. It's like something around. I don't know.
Sure, whatever.
We'll look it up. No, we won't. But yeah, the Casper house.
I love it. This one's specific. Have you ever seen Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield?
I have not.
Fuck. All right. So, do you know the plot of the classic comedy Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield?
You're going to have to give me like the Cliff's Notes version.
All right. Basically, his son is in college, and he's like he's Rodney, so he always plays the same thing. He's a low-class guy, but he's rich.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
He's basically the exact same character from like Caddyshack, and he gets divorced from his wife, so he kind of like is lost in life. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Oh, I'll just go to college with you," and so he buys like 5 dorm rooms and knocks down the walls and connects them, and basically turns his son's dorm room into a giant palatial, like beautiful, crazy space. And I always thought that was cool.
That is cool.
They have a party in there. Oingo Boingo plays.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a crazy movie. Oingo Boingo's in it.
Did Danny Elfman do the score, or was he just in Oingo Boingo?
This was still Oingo Boingo days.
Okay.
Kurt Vonnegut is in it as himself. There's a joke where he's supposed to, Rodney Dangerfield's, like, because he's rich, so he doesn't do anything. Mm-hmm. So, like, he's supposed to, for English, like, write a report on Kurt Vonnegut. Mm-hmm. And then, like...
So he just brings him in?
You hear like a knock on the door, and it's Kurt Vonnegut, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Kurt Vonnegut," and like he like pays Kurt Vonnegut to write his report, and then he gets like a C anyway.
Of course, right? Because it's his own words. I love that.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fun.
It's a fun movie.
Oh man.
Yeah. So again, that's sort of like kind of almost like the Beatles thing. It's like a space that you make bigger. Mm-hmm. Kind of like I just read a whole book on haunted houses.
Ooh.
But it really got into like the architecture of like why we think they're haunted or whatever. And the Winchester house is like really interesting because that's the house where they just kept adding and adding and adding. So it's this weird Frankenstein monster where
this is the house that has like doors that go nowhere.
Right.
Okay.
But there's really just like one door that goes nowhere.
Or like a staircase that just, and then there's a wall.
Right. The narrative is like this woman went crazy and she thought that.
But you can see the doors from the outside.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just she had a lot of money and was crazy. But like the narrative is like she thought that she would be cursed if she stopped a building. So she built forever. And so it's kind of like.
There are other houses like that. Like, was it in the book? I don't remember what it was, but it had to be a house with no corners. It was like this ghost thing. This person built a house with no corners because some haunting thing, I think, having to do with corners. They believed like the ghosts were in the corners.
Interesting.
I don't know. That's it. Yeah. So I'm going to say romantic comedy is one genre that also features houses heavily and horror, right?
Yeah.
A lot of big old houses and horror.
Both
haunted
thematically
houses
are about...
The House of Usher.
Like
Dracula's Castle.
Just read that. I literally read that yesterday for the first time.
Okay. Now, the House of Usher is based on... I listened to an episode of Lore about it. And it's based on this big old manor that really existed. And, of course, I can't remember anything because I got like 2 hours of sleep last night. But basically, every person who lived in the house... tried to find this room because they could see the window from the outside, but it's an unaccounted for window in the house. Weird. But the house is so big and crazy that at one point, one set of owners was like, let's have a party. And the whole point of the party is everybody tries to find this room.
Wow.
And
they don't even get into that in the story. They couldn't.
Well, it's like the House of Usher is kind of based on this story because the rumor was that the original owners of the house built a secret wing to keep a child that had been born like horribly deformed in this wing. And that's also become like a trope of horror, like this hidden scary person. Like, I mean, they even do it in like my favorite Treehouse of Horror with Hugo, right, who lives in the attic. He's like the Hugo, right? And so they kept him there.
Right.
But then Lore does like investigations into folklore tales and stuff. And so they did investigations into this story. And apparently when the real house was demolished, they found a set of bones.
Whoa.
So they're like, was this real? This is true. Like, because there was a secret wing because that window, no one could ever find where it was. And then when the house finally collapsed, there was a weird set of bones in the house. So it's like, somebody maybe was living there. Someone was kept there potentially. This is an interesting, weird thing. And it's like about the line of the family kind of being corrupted and like all tied to this house. And
like I read it. And then I was like, is this about incest or is that just my fucked up mind? And then I Googled it.
It's like a big deformed
and a lot
person.
Of people,
it's like, that's a symbol for, I mean, literary. It's like a literary symbol for like incest.
Right, exactly. But it's funny. I want to go back to that thematically, the idea of romantic comedies and horror. Because both are, you could say very, very generally, one is about the making of a family and one is about usually the demise of a family. So like
the decay.
Exactly. Like think about like in the House of Usher, like it's just literally in the end both siblings die and then
and
it
the house
crumbles,
collapses,
which becomes a trope that you see like in other like Simpsons, you see it and you see it in the first Poltergeist movie, like literally you leave and the house like just dies behind you. So the idea of like home is connected to, because even when you think about like ghost stories, it's all it's always about like some sort of family thing. I mean, think about how you have a proliferation of like widowed women or women who are somehow like their love went away and you know, like, anyway, we've gone off track, but Casper. I would love to live in Iron Man's house.
Sure.
From the first and second Iron Man movie.
Okay, yeah.
If you remember, it's just like it's almost like an apartment. It's not that big, but it's carved in a mountain.
Yes.
So like you see like actual like mountain inside as walls, and then like half of it's glass so you can see the crazy view.
Yes.
And then downstairs is his garage where he has all his like luxury cars, but then he turns it into like his Iron Man cave. And it's just pretty. It's just like beautiful, like crazy wealth. I tend to not like modernism or minimalism. I like kitsch and warmth and stuff.
Yeah, me too.
But something about having
just like appreciate a nice apartment though.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But part of the fact that half of it is in a mountain, you have a good balance between the modern and new and like actual nature. So like it works out. A similar house to that, which I would love to live in, is the house, Oscar Isaac's house, some Ex Machina.
Oh, yeah. That's a real hotel in, I think, Norway. Really? Yeah, you could stay there. I'm sure it's crazy expensive, but it actually exists. Yeah, that place exists.
And that too has like
very
like
natural
faces.
Elements.
Yeah,
that has a lot to do with the architect Frank Lloyd Wright. He was like a mid-century architect, and he's like super iconic in the architecture world. And his designs are super like graphic lines, like straight lines, but he always builds into nature. So like his designs are always in congress with the environment around it.
Yeah.
His famous house that you can visit is called Falling Water, and he built it into a stream so that the stream kind of runs through the house organically. And then the house is sort of built all around it. A lot of his designs famously had like these flaws where they would like let rain in and stuff because he was trying to like build into nature too much. He also had a house in the desert that was sort of built into like the desert rock and stuff, and it's really cool. And so I feel like because of his huge influence on the design world, that sort of thing comes up a lot, where you see like beautiful modern looking houses that are really influenced by the environments around them.
I love that idea of, you know, like a house is in some ways it is in spite of nature around it. It's sort of it's creating something that is inside of nature but trying to not be nature. So like when it's like married with it, it's such an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Like now I'm thinking about the Hobbit holes from
That was my next one.
Really?
Bilbo Baggins' Hobbit hole.
Yeah. Well, first of all,
the round door is so iconic, so beautiful. I love that big doorknob right in the center.
Oh, I just want to go in there and eat cheese and bread.
Right? The larder.
Yeah.
The Hobbit's larder. It's where everything great is.
It's just where I can totally be a Hobbit.
Yeah, for sure.
And I wouldn't
you
be...
have big hairy feet.
True. And I wouldn't be like a Bilbo, like where I'd want an adventure. I would
live in that house and read books.
I'd have the Hobbit life.
Yeah,
I would
absolutely.
just eat all day and just chill and be like,
it's like a gorgeous garden, like a beautiful little gate in the front.
Yeah.
It's built right into the side of the hill.
yeah, you're in a hill. Like that's what's cool about it.
The story starts with the home.
Yeah.
Like the first line in The Hobbit is like Bilbo Baggins like lived in a hole in the ground. And the hole in the ground lived a hobbit, not a nasty hole, but a nice warm hobbit hole.
Yeah,
and then it explains what a hobbit hole is because it's so
right.
It's so part of the fabric of the story.
By the way, Hobbit Hole, my favorite strip club off the Jersey Turnpike. Am I right, folks?
Oh my goodness, the women there.
Whoa,
Don't
hairy
look at their feet.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? Look at our list oscillate between like cold modernism and like super, super warmth.
Yeah. Or like big scary houses.
Or big scare. Well, that's your weird ghost fetish.
That's it.
Which is
in doing this list, I realized I either want to live in a big Victorian or a little tiny cottage with like a thatched roof and like a round window and
right. I think in reality, I'd want like the Hobbit Hole.
Oh, I'd love to live there because it's also spacious. It's not small.
Right.
It has these big curved ceilings and arched
You
doorways.
can fit-
Everything's very round.
You could fit Gandalf in it.
Like the
he'll hit
shape
his head on
language
things.
of the space is like round, curved. Like there's no hard edges to the space at all. Everything is comfortable. That's his life, is comfort. You know, he shouldn't want to leave. I wouldn't want to leave.
Me neither.
I love that about that's like it's one of my favorite spaces like of all time.
Great.
I love the Hobbit Hole.
Yeah.
You want to pivot to big scary Victorians?
Sure, please.
I just watched Knives Out. Oh my God. Harlan Thrombey's house.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Maximalism. Let's forget all about the minimal. Let's forget about clean lines. This is a big, scary old, it's like, I think it's a Gothic revival.
Yeah.
Secret passageways.
Of course. That movie is so good.
It's so good. It's like a clue board. It's like fantastic. Right. It's like portraits, books, like 2 levels of books in the library. This crazy like knife sculpture hanging off the wall.
My favorite space is his little space where he plays games with Marta. Yeah. It looks
that like little attic.
Yeah, it's like a little attic, but like
it's also very sort of like reminiscent of the Royal Tenenbaum's house.
Yeah.
Which was another one that almost made it, but I love their game closet. Yeah, remember that? Everything's overstuffed.
Yeah,
like there's detail in every corner. There's so much stuff in the house, but it doesn't feel like a hoarder's house. It just feels like a cool museum.
Yeah.
I love it. Those houses always feature taxidermy in a big way, and even though I'm like not necessarily a fan of that, like I like the look. He has like crystal balls and stuff.
Yeah, he's got crazy shit.
So cool. Everything about that house is amazing.
Yeah. The house is such a big part of
it is
that whole film. Mm-hmm. That's a great movie.
It's a great movie. I love they show you the truth.
Yeah.
And then I love that about it. I like that it's not necessarily entirely a puzzle where you're just trying to figure out. You kind of know what happened, but now it's like the emotional story that's driving you.
Right, exactly.
Like wanting to, see where these characters end up.
Ryan Johnson has said like he was really inspired by Columbo, and you can see Columbo because in Columbo you always saw Columbos weren't mysteries. You always knew who did it.
Right in the beginning, right? The first shot.
I love that scene where like she goes outside and he's like in darkness and he's got the that was the movie that made me fall in love with
Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's great.
Yeah, he's so good.
I think the only American accent he can do though is like an foghorn leghorn southern drawl. Because have you seen oh God, it's a Soderbergh movie. It's like the redneck Ocean's 11.
Oh yeah. I've seen that.
He's also a southerner in that one.
Yeah.
He's great in that too because he's like a nut job. But I like him like
Lucky Logan.
Lucky Logan. That's it.
Oh, Logan Lucky.
Logan Lucky.
Yeah.
What? Yes, one of those.
Yeah.
Either way, you Google it, you'll find it. Those 2 words together.
Yeah,
That's a great movie too.
Yeah, I put
Daniel Craig is low-key one of my favorite actors. Actually, I'm thinking about the projects he does. I'm like, oh no, I actually like a lot of the stuff he does. Good for him.
Logan Lucky.
Logan Lucky. Okay.
Yeah, he's so great. He's so great in it. They're doing another
They're doing a sequel, yeah.
But I think it's just that detective in a different mystery.
Okay.
Which is better.
Yeah.
You could just do more. Just do more with him.
Yeah. Love that.
The Last Gentleman Sleuth.
That's right. That's right. As per the New Yorker piece on him. Yeah. So, you know what's funny is Chris Evans' house you see for a second in the movie, and it's so minimalist and cold and glass and like this big modern house, and it's diametrically opposed to Harlan's house.
Yeah.
Where everything's like dark and the fire's always lit, and even though it's daytime, it's like it always feels like it's nighttime inside.
Yeah,
love that stuff. I love that.
And then like the old lady seems like she's part of the house.
Part of the house, yeah.
Yeah.
She never leaves. She's just standing in that window.
Just silent.
Just looking.
What else you got? My list is I'm tapped.
You're tapped? All right, I'm going to give you one more. I could go on. But
you can go on for as much as you want.
You know what? Actually, I do want to talk about, and they've talked about this a little bit on How Did This Get Made? What's the deal with like 80s and 90s movies and people living on houseboats? Like if you're single, you have to live on a houseboat.
I think it's just I think
you're adrift.
Yeah, it's a super easy metaphor.
Like you don't have a home.
It's a super easy metaphor. It's just like, you're not settled anywhere.
Right, yeah. Not an apartment, you're living on a houseboat.
Yeah.
Like why? It's so weird.
Yeah, it was big in like the 90s, and I can't remember a houseboat.
Sleepless in Seattle, he lives on a houseboat.
Does he?
Drop Dead Fred.
Because doesn't he also live in a houseboat in...
He goes to stay on his yacht in You've Got Mail.
Right.
But Drop Dead Fred, I think Carrie Fisher lives on a houseboat.
Which I think it sinks, right?
Yes.
Oh, no. She's dating some married guy.
Who lives on a houseboat.
Okay. That's a weird movie because it's like, is this for kids?
Yeah, I loved it as a kid and then watched it as an adult, and I was like, wow.
There's a lot of sex in this.
It's the best How Did This Get Made episode.
Yeah.
Easily.
Oh, because
the
way it divides
it divides the hosts.
Yeah.
It really threatens June and Paul's marriage.
I know. They're finally like in a commercial together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forget what it is, but it's like... Maybe it's Twix. It's something where it's like they both have a different thing. It's like finally this happened.
I used to think that Terry Hatcher was married to that football player who was always in the commercials with her for like the Wiz or some electronics store. I was like, they're married, right?
Sure.
They're in commercials together.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Speaking of the 90s,
oh my
Terry
God.
Hatcher.
Terry Hatcher. Okay. My last one,
please,
for now, is Uncle Owen's Igloo house in I was about to say The Force Awakens. No, New Hope. Star Wars. Let's just call it the original title.
Star Wars movie.
Star Wars.
The Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker.
We're talking about Rey's house.
I do like that she lives where she lives in The Force Awakens.
Right. Doesn't make any... Oh, well, Force Awakens is cool because she lives in a at that's turned over.
Don't do that.
Well, you can go visit it. It's in Tunisia.
It's in Tunisia. It exists. Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Why?
I think, and I still do. I was going to say I loved it as a kid and I love it now. It's a structure that's associated with cold climates in a desert.
Okay.
But I do love a shape of an igloo. I like that it's not made of ice, so it seems a little bit more livable.
It's funny. I never thought of it as an igloo.
It looks like an igloo. It is,
yeah. But it's also like dug, like burrowed into the ground.
Yeah. And so it's like it has that Hobbit hole aspect to it, and also the thing we're talking about, like it's a very futuristic looking structure.
Well, the dining room's awesome. The outside dining room.
Outside, inside, yeah.
Yeah.
Like their kitchen's like a kind of like a galley kitchen, but it's all open.
Yeah.
So, I actually really like that space a lot.
That wizard's just a crazy old man.
It's funny because it's the first space they show you.
Yeah.
And it's so simple. And I feel like it's one of the
it's like he's a farm boy.
Yeah.
See, but
moisture farmer.
Yeah, because they live in a desert, so they farm moisture, which seems like a horrible life.
What a terrible, terrible way to make a living.
Interesting. See, I would never want to live there.
I like that.
I mean, if we're opening up the Star Wars spaces, like...
Yeah.
I mean, even though it's not... You don't see it a lot in new movies. Like, any of, like, the fucking... the upper world of Coruscant...
Oh, okay,
because there's the lower world, which is like a nightmare of crime, but then there's like all the upper
apartments
world, right,
yeah.
like where Yoda lives.
Yeah, or Anakin and Padme's apartment.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's
balcony. Really, we're gonna get into that. Let's talk about Naboo, where she lives. Right. It's like Naboo's basically an Italian villa.
Yeah, it's the best planet.
It's easily the best
Star
planet.
Wars.
Yeah, for sure.
In the canon, Naboo becomes very crazy because it's where the Emperor came from. Mm-hmm. It's the Emperor's home planet. So like that palace is turned into an Emperor Palpatine museum. And it's just crazy. It's just like it becomes like a very gross place. It like has tourism, and it's interesting.
It's so beautiful because it's just like Lake Como where they filmed it. Yeah. It's just the Mediterranean.
Yeah. It is beautiful. It is very like Italian. It's very. What about where the Gungans live? Like those bubbles?
They're so beautiful. I love that. I feel like that's also an aspect of Naboo that is extremely cool, but because like weird frog people live there, nobody wants to live there, but it's like all glowing bubbles.
Clearly it's their planet.
It's obviously their
and
planet.
The fucking white people
they colonized the surface.
Yeah. No, we could go for another 5 hours on Star Wars spaces.
Places. Yeah, absolutely.
Yoda's little hut.
I don't want to live there.
There's snakes everywhere.
No thanks.
There's snakes everywhere. It's got a smell in there.
No, it does.
He hasn't bathed in 300 years.
No.
And even then it was an accident. He fell into a pool.
He wasn't originally green.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
There's a baby Yoda standee here.
Staring at us on the table. We both just looked at it like, oh, sorry.
We've not mentioned. He's like, how dare you?
It now occurs to me that he's wearing what looks like it could become old Yoda's robes.
I always think of it as a modified potato sack.
Yes.
I think Baby Yoda's just potatoes with a cute head. Oh, Baby Yoda.
Let's just end it like we end all episodes.
Talking about Baby Yoda. Well, that's the last one you have?
It is not by a mile, but I'll end it there.
Okay.
I will.
All right. Well, this has been... We really can go on further with this. And you should start that Instagram. I fully support that. This is PCMC. I'm Mike Bongiorno. I'm here with Janine Gagliardi. If you have any cool movie pop culture spaces that you want to live in, tell us about it.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought like you could do toys, like toy play sets you wanted to live in.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Another episode.
Oh my god. Every fucking my head just exploded. So much good stuff. Yeah, the command center from Power Rangers almost made it into this list, but then I realized there's nothing in it. But there's nothing
Zordon's
there.
big old head.
Sleep. It's like I can't sleep with Zordon's head there.
It's too bright.
He's like looking away from me, but like I know he sees me.
Turn down the light.
Like we're all in his periph.
I need to use the toilet, Zordon.
Where is the toilet?
It is Zordon.
He's like in my mouth.
Zordon, right. I don't feel safe.
PCMC is a podcast available anywhere podcasts are found. You could contact us at PCMC Pod on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok. If you don't have TikTok already, I don't think you can get it. I don't know how that panned out.
They made it in the 11th hour.
I had a feeling
somebody bought it. Oh, I think actually Walmart and another company bought it. Walmart was one of the buyers, though. That's weird thing.
And Trump's okay with it because it's an American company now?
Yeah, I guess.
We live in a nightmare. I never say Facebook, but we also have a Facebook too.
Do you?
Yeah, there is a Facebook page.
For any elderly listeners out there who are on Facebook.
Find the PCMC Facebook
page.
Where
my radio.com listeners at?
Yes.
Get on your Facebook account.
We end every episode with go bye-bye.
Go bye-bye.
You don't have to say it.
Well, you didn't look at me, so I wasn't sure if I should.
And now I feel weird about it because Anthony said it makes him feel uncomfortable.
It doesn't make me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I always feel like I would do it, but sometimes the person with me wants to do it.
I always want to say it.
I don't think he does want to say it.
No, I don't think so. He's not a ham like me.
Go.
Oh, bye-bye.